best behavior, no. Okay, so we're going to hear
As long as you don't make me play.
What do you mean don't make you play? You're going to play. I need something.
My voice is struggling here.
It doesn't matter, man. I want a chorus or something. Something. Give me something. Give me a little bit of blood here, man.
Killing Smalls.
No, no, man. It's going to make the show, man. I swear. I swear. I promise. I promise. Are we rolling? So
we've been rolling this whole time.
I do that on the Conjugal Visit show all the time, and Guido gets pissed off at me because what he'll do is he'll say something really ignorant, and I say, you know, we're rolling here, and he says, oh shit. so anyway, guys, so that's going to be a surprise for us. Come up on May 13th, correct? Now May 13th,
like it was for the band.
Like it was for the band, just as big a surprise for them, but.
And let me say this.
Okay.
And then I'll let you. And I'll
Can
let
you give me a clue? Can you give us a clue? No.
Yes, I will.
Okay, give us a clue. Give us something.
Arguably, one of the hardest Hagar songs to sing.
Wow.
For me. And I think...
you're going to share the era from when that came?
Well, easily. Van Hagar.
Van Hagar, okay.
That was his... That was when he was at his... vocally at his best. I think. Easily, that was when he was...
Studio-wise or live?
Both.
Both.
Oh, easily both.
Yeah.
Let's face it. Since we're going to get on this subject, let's go ahead and roll with this. I mean, easily. Sammy, pre-Van Halen, he was... Montrose days, he was building, how do I want to put this? He was becoming a musician. People are going to argue with me. They're going to say, "Oh, you don't know what he's talking about." This is me. This is my point of view of Sammy Hagar. Okay. He wasn't quite sure of where he was at yet. This is how I look at Sammy Hagar. Okay. When he broke out on his own, he started becoming more of a front man, more and more of a front man, and you can see it in his live performances, especially in his solo years. 3-Lock Box Tour, really great tour.
But rough, wasn't it? Yeah, it was.
But still,
it was still great.
But it was Sammy. It was raw Sammy Hagar.
Yeah.
He just came out and he took control. He was at his best. I mean, and then Standing Hampton, phenomenal album. Mm-hmm. Arguably or not arguably, best album. Probably had the most recognizable songs on it. In fact, our show coming up on May 13th, we start with 3 songs right off the bat are off that album. We do a lot of songs off that album, but the Standing Hampton tour, great shows. A lot of great songs. One of my favorites off of that is Can't Get Loose.
Yeah, it's a great song. Yeah, it is.
We brought that back.
Oh, excellent.
That's in the show.
Okay.
For this one, we brought that one back.
Excellent.
We did that on a show, and I'll never forget doing that. Looking out in the crowd, and everybody's out there going, "Wow, really? You're doing this song? Nobody does this song." You know, well, we got a keyboard player, Wayne Stedman, and he does it. He does it justice. Excellent. So when you got somebody like him that can do it, you do the song. You know, but anyway, you know, it was Sammy. He was doing his show. He was running around. But he wasn't still yet. He was still building, and then came, you know, along comes VOA, and actually, I guess it was in 1983 where he found the light trussing. And he started climbing up on it. And he kind of went halfway up, and he made him bring it back down. And he was like, I'm not sure about this. And then the VOA tour, he was up there on it.
Yeah.
And then came Van Hagar. everybody wants to call it Van Hagar, but he joins Van Halen, and he became, to me, one of the premier frontmen in rock and roll because he was all business. He had something to prove. Mm-hmm. He had to prove to the people who were diehard Van Halen. Nothing can replace David Lee Roth. He had something to prove. He had to go out there and say, "Hey, look, there is somebody other than David Lee Roth, and it's me."
There's a lot of critics out there that would say that Van Halen, Sammy Hagar, commercialized himself by going with Van Halen. What are your views on it? Do you think that Van Halen would have found somebody else, not as good, but do you think they'd have found somebody else besides him? Could he have been replaced?
Well, yeah. Look,
but they didn't. Right?
Here's the thing. I mean, the argument goes. It can go either way. I mean, you're asking the wrong person. I'm a Sammy Hagar fan.
Yeah. Okay.
Here's my argument.
Okay, then
here's my argument. 4 #1 albums.
Yeah. Platinum.
Before that, how many?
Not many.
None.
Yeah.
That I know of.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the way it is. So, and maybe I'm wrong on that. I'm not sure if 1984 went to #1
but
or
was
not.
it
I think
the name Van Halen that did that, or was it Sammy Hagar that did that? Was it a compilation between him and Eddie?
That's what it was. It was the music writing. It was the combination. My opinion. This is my opinion, and everybody out there that's watching this is going to say, yeah, but your opinion don't mean shit, and you're right. It probably doesn't. But it's my opinion. Listening to the music, I love the old Van Halen. I'm a fan of it. I was always have been. I always will be. But my personal opinion, I thought that when Sammy joined Van Halen, I thought that Eddie's guitar playing took another level. I thought that Sammy brought Eddie's guitar playing to another level.
To the next level.
That's just my opinion. I don't think it took a step backwards. I thought it got better. I thought it became more intense, more emotional. That's just my opinion. I thought it was better. I loved listening to it, but that's just my opinion. Now,
sure.
you listen to it. You listen to the albums prior to Sammy. You listen to the albums with Sammy. Then you listen to the albums after that, and
nothing compares.
Yeah, it just, to me, I just think they're not comparable because they're different. They're two different styles of music.
Two different bands.
And exactly. And everybody wants to argue about it, and here's the thing. Stop arguing about it, because it's two completely different versions of Van Halen. And everybody needs to respect both versions of it. They should, instead of everybody bickering and pissing and moaning, this one's better, this one's better. Look, they're both great versions,
right.
And they both deserve the credit that's due to both of them. And instead of pissing and moaning about both of them, why not celebrate the fact that both of those versions of Van Halen are some of the best rock and roll music that's ever been put out?
Excellent.
That's what needs to be That's what needs to be put out there. I mean, look, Wolfie did an amazing job of what he did with putting the David Lee Roth version of Van Halen out on tour. Now, I'll say this. If by some silly ass reason that Wolfie would hear or see this, Wolfie, this is what you need to do. You need to do what you just did with David Lee Roth, and you need to do it again with Sammy and Michael. You're going to get rich.
That's a whole different title altogether. That's a whole different story altogether.
But the fans deserve to see
both
that version again.
Yeah.
And everybody's talking about it.
Yeah.
But now getting back to what you're saying about vocally and whatever. Sammy challenged himself with Van Halen.
Okay.
he even said that he challenged himself vocally and he challenged himself lyrically. Eddie gave him music that I mean, my God, the music that was written, gave him opportunities. Just like like, wow,
Yeah.
what do I do with this?
Yeah.
So there's songs in there that if
I'm sure there were times in the studio when they looked at each other and say, "Wow, that's a hit." I'm sure of it. I'm sure that. Getting back to Eddie of Red, why Red?
as in
Why Sammy Hagar? Why, you got a bunch of guys. You got Bobby and you got Tom together, and you said, "Hey, man, I want to do this thing with Sammy Hagar." Why?
We had the original four of us, me, Tom Ackman, Bobby Deskins, and Paul Smith, the original four. We had a cover band called Incognito, and we've been playing together for a while. Getting typical cover band stuff. We joked about ourselves. We always said we were the greatest cover band nobody had ever heard.
Yeah.
And we were often, this is going to really sound arrogant, and most people who ever talk to me knows that I'm the least arrogant musician in St. Louis that you'll ever talk to. I always feel I'm probably the most humble person that because if you ask me, I'll tell you, I think I suck. I cherish every moment that I get to play on stage because I think I'm the worst singer in the freaking world. But people always told us, when they would hear us for the first time, they'd be like, "Man, why aren't you playing the cool clubs in St. Louis?" What was the conversation that I had earlier about the cliques?
Yeah.
We were never a part of that.
Yeah.
Well, if you're not a part of those cliques,
You have to join those cliques, don't you?
you don't get to play the cool clubs.
Yeah.
So we could say that we were, really good, and we could say that we had, these great harmonies, and we could say that we were this, and we could say that we were that. And it wore on us. So we joked about, we should try to put a tribute band together, And I remember we tried to get into House of Rock, and I talked to Joe DeBishop online. Never really got a chance to meet him face to face. I went in a couple times and just couldn't catch up with him. And I remember trying to catch up with Vern online a couple times and didn't know him well enough, just to walk up and introduce myself to him. But I do remember sending him messages and we sent them promo packs. Mm-hmm. And told them who we were and blah blah blah. We really liked the opportunity. We said we would go there on a weeknight, and play and try to get in there. And we got turned down several times. And then Rob Boyer said, "Hey, we got a show coming up, House of Rock. I talked to Derek Brumley, and we'd like, this, after we decide to do Red, we'd like Red to open up, And before that, we decided, we talked about doing a tribute band, and I said, well, if we're going to do this, what should we do? We talked about doing Ozzy Osbourne. I said, well, we'll make Eddie wear a black wig and sunglasses and paint his fingernails black, and well, we already knew that Dave Heagle and them were putting together an Ozzy tribute. Well, no, we're not going to do that. So Bobby's wife, Roberta, had said, when you guys do Sammy, Eddie sounds a lot like Sammy. You guys do that really well. You ought to think about doing that. And we got to looking at our set list one time with Incognito. And we're like, you guys realize how much Sammy Hagar we already do? Mm-hmm. We already had enough songs to almost do a set just to go open up somewhere. So we thought, well, what the heck, we'll try it, So we decided to do that. So we started putting that together. And we kind of put the word out that we're going to do it. And decided, Tom Ackman actually was the one that came up with Red.
Okay.
Decided to call it Red.
Okay.
And so we put it out. We kind of put the feelers out there, said, let's do this. And we pretty much, for lack of a better term, shelved incognito. Decided we're going to finish out our dates that we had booked, and we're just going to concentrate on doing this tribute. And Rob knew about it, knew we were going to do this, and got us this opening act for Conquest.
Right.
And we got the show, and this was in June, House of Rock, and it was funny. We got the gig, and prior to this, I don't remember, all of our friends, all of our other musician buddies, they all knew we had the gig. We've been bragging about it. Derek Brumley had purchased some airtime to advertise the show at House of Rock. So word had gotten out that there was a new Sammy Hagar tribute band, because there was one prior to us.
Right.
Mark Crowell.
Mark Crowell, yeah.
Mark Crowell. Oh boy, let me think of who else was in it. I want to say it was Bob Guillaume was the singer, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
They were called 3 O'Clock Box. Had done a show at Family Arena. And so we were advertised on Casey. So all the redheads, some of the redheads had found out, heard advertised. So night of the show, we actually had some people there. Well, I'm out in the crowd, kind of walking around, and I'd heard a few people, met a few people before I went to go get ready, and they were saying, now, if you don't pull this off, you'll never get another show. Because Sammy Hagar, or St. Louis is a Sammy Hagar town, and
exactly,
we're not very forgiving,
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, and I'm not going to say his name because he'll probably see this, and if I mention his name, he'll give me crap about it. But they told me, they said, there's going to be some people here tonight. I know they're coming, and I'm going to tell you right now that if you don't pull this off, you won't get a second booking. I'm like, oh, good. Thanks for telling me you could.
Vibes, right.
Thanks for the boost, So going back to this whole fetal position thing, you wonder why. So again, nobody really had nobody had been to a rehearsal. Nobody had heard us prior to that night. And nobody, not even my band, had even seen me dressed up. So I'm allowed to go into the office and change. Now, I don't know if you've heard this story before or not.
Yeah, I was at the show, but go ahead.
So So anyway, got a lot of friends there that night, and I was nervous as hell, just to even come out. But the story behind all of this, and I've told you, but I'll I could turn my head around just, but everybody, and Tony, if you see this, wigs are for chick, and you'll bite me. Obviously, I don't have the hair anymore.
Right.
I can grow it, but it takes too long. And the job I have, they kind of
frown on it.
Yeah, man. And I sweat like a whore on nickel and ice, shoveling snow in 0 degrees. So I went and had a real hair wig made, and it was not cheap, but I wanted it done right. So I go into this place, I take these pictures of Sammy. I said, I want to look like this. Now, this place I had this done was, well, let's just say it is young, let me rephrase this, middle-aged white men don't normally walk into this place and have wigs made. So I I was a little out of place in this store having this done. So anyway, I get this thing made, and I come home, and I had it made. I had it, they sized it all up, and they ordered it, and when I went back to get it, and they trimmed it up and everything. And as I'm getting it made, and the transformation is done, I really wasn't paying a whole lot of attention, but I had also ordered Sammy's sunglasses, his actual $135. I'm an idiot, I know.
Okay.
His sunglasses. So I've got these on, and I'm sitting in this wig shop, okay, and you got this big mirror that you're sitting in front of, and the hairdresser, and and they're putting the wig on, and I really wasn't paying a whole lot of attention, and she's doing it, and I happened to look up, and I had this crowd of about 8 elderly women, and they're all standing around watching this transformation of this middle-aged white man turning, and this woman, she goes, he's in a band, it's okay. I'm like, why are you explaining to them this? I'm like, so anyway, okay, so we're at the House of Rock, and I'm back in the office, and I'm just freaking out. So my wife, Lori, Yvette, who else was back there? Katrina, I think. They're back there trying to calm me down. Because I'm like, I'm just freaking out.
The place is packed.
Oh, it was. Do you remember?
Yeah.
It was assholes and elbows, dude. and that didn't help matters much. So, I don't remember which one it was. One of them finally come walking back in there with a double shot of gobble. And I did that, and that was like, just kind of calm the nerves. But they were all standing there, and, well, actually, they weren't standing there when I changed. Let me clear the air on that right now. Mm-hmm. So I got changed into the outfit, and I pull the wig on, get it all set up, put the glasses on, and I kind of stand up, and it's just funny. They all went, now my wife had seen it, so she knew, but the three of them hadn't. They all just went,
oh my God.
They just stand there like, holy shit.
Because you do resemble him a little bit on stage, just a little, just a little.
This is at least this is real. At least I can grow this,
Right.
So get done, and we walk out of the office, and we're, well, I don't know, what was it, maybe 10, 15 minutes probably prior to showtime,
right,
something like that. And as I walk out, and because where the office is back there in House of Rock, you're back in that back corner, and as I'm walking out, there's people sitting everywhere. And when I walked out, people are like, holy shit,
that's Sammy.
That's Sammy. Yeah. And as I'm stopping, people are just, hey man, hey, come here. And it's just flash. All these cell phone flashes are going off. And as I'm going through, everybody just keeps stopping me, and all the friends were posing pictures and stopping. We keep taking pictures, and it was fun. It really was. We were just having fun with it. Well, my entire band is standing up against the rail. Not the rail. Yeah, the rail. Because you got this, you have the stage, and then you have the dance floor, and then you had that rail at House Rock. They're all standing up against that rail, from the dance floor. And I get out there, and I kind of look out, and I can see them. They're all kind of, like, what the hell? What the hell's going on over there? Because they can see everybody taking pictures. So I said, I gotta make my way up to the stage, So I kind of start, because we're ready to go on. So I kind of start walking that way, and it was kind of like Moses took his staff and raised it up, and the Red Sea part. It was like the crowd just kind of parted so I could walk through. And that was the first time that Paul and, because we were still 4-piece at the time, we didn't have a keyboard player yet, and that was the first time that the three of them had seen me. Like, it was priceless, because they were all just like,
Oh.
Darren Boyd, long time, big time,
I know.
musician, St. Louis,
Right.
arguably, one of the best blues guitar players, and 80s guitar players, a friend and to everyone in the music scene. He looks right at me. He says, "Oh, it's on like Donkey Kong now." He goes, "Or no, oh shit, just got serious now." And it was funny because I don't think, and the band, if you remember that night, they were all dressed up like the Wobbles.
Wobbles, yeah.
Everybody was dressed except for Paul. Do you remember how Paul was dressed?
What was it? Blue jeans.
Monotone.
Very monotone.
He was dressed. He was dressed like a Wobberita, but it was all in white, black and gray. It was all.
Yeah, yeah. I remember now. Yeah.
It was all monotone.
All
God bless
monotone.
him. Monotone.
That's it. I'm not getting excited. I'm not detracting from Sammy. None of that shit. So.